Hello everyone. In this week's episode, I'm finally working on my electric anchor windlass and connecting it to my battery, which is a separate one dedicated just for anchoring. This is a project which I was keeping a long time pushing in front of me, simply just because I was missing the battery. Finally, I got this battery and got the breakers and parts and everything. And between the projects, there is always some amazing moment in nature when you wake up in the morning and you have such a beautiful view. That's so rewarding. Today I finally got my stuff together to work on my windlass. Here comes the important part. All the wires, some tint lugs, and then more lugs, and the tool. Let's get into this. I'm going to prepare the connectors first and then pull the wires in place, and let's see how this will work out. This is again one of the big steps that I was working towards for a long time. Finally having my anchor windlass electric. That would be something amazing. My fight with my windlass is in full swing. So that was a huge challenge with this one. Getting these wires in here. That took me quite some time, but now I'm done. I'm now going to install this motor. Going to close this thing now, and then going outside and install it in the anchor locker. I got the windlass installed. That was indeed some crazy work, but now it's on. I'm going to seal that with silicone from both sides, and then I'm going to see if that works. Just finishing the wiring, and that's it. So now comes the moment of truth. Finally done with all the wiring. Was almost a whole day busy with that, and now comes the test. I would say it works. I have electric windlass. My windlass is finally working. I'm really happy. This is a huge milestone for me. No manual anchor pulling anymore. Yeah, and this is how it looks right now. If you want to see my mess. So this is the battery. I need to adjust the wires, put them in place. Over there is my breaker and the relay. The relay is just behind, and the remote. I'm going to clean up my V-bars now and yeah, call it a day. There's only one thing to finish, is running the wires from here to the locker in the cockpit and get a DC to DC charger so that I can charge this battery. Right now I'm charging it manually with a regular charger. For now it is okay, but this is not the way I want it. Since my anchor project is almost finished, I wanted to give you a cost breakdown. So the anchor is a Rockna 25 kilos and a 200 feet of chain, which is $2,300. Then I bought a windlass, that's a quick 1000 watts. With shipping it was $1,400. Then I have a dedicated battery, lithium 100 amp hours, which is $333. Then I have the breaker, wiring, crimping tool, which is $360. Lots of sweats and work in very awkward positions, and this adds up to a total of $4,393. This was my total spending on my anchor project. Of course it could have been cheaper if I would have used a 20 kilo anchor and an 8mm chain. I would have saved some money, but my experience is I rather have an anchor that is one size bigger than one size too small. It just gives you much more peace and much better holding. A little bit higher investment, but the anchor is something very important. You don't actually take it light. Of course you notice a heavy anchor when you're pulling it by hand, which I had to do several times. If you have 25 kg and then you have maybe 6 or 7 meters of 10 millimeter chain, which adds up easily to another 20 or 25 kg, and if that anchor is nicely sucked into the mud, it is almost impossible to pull it by hand. So it was, every time it was a serious workout. Now, since I'm completely electric, this should be now an easy task. And with the remote, I can even handle the anchor from the cockpit. I don't need to go to the front, which also helps a lot, especially when you're solo. I hope you enjoyed my video for this week. Got some insight in my projects here and what I'm doing. I thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all the supporters. Thank you for the Patreons. And if you liked my content, like, share, subscribe. I hope to see you in the next episode.